volume is working. So we're going to start this over again. I just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in for the volunteer orientation. We're going to go through the logistics of the conference. And first of all, I want to introduce you to some other staff members who are participating in this webinar today. They will be speaking with me. I'll go through the names left to right. So this is Joanne, and she's looking after the trade show. We have Joy. Joy you might recognize as being one of our team leaders. She is now on staff with us and is going to be helping me in the volunteer office. This is Justine. We have Georgia here, myself. Jason is going to be looking after equipment on site. Sasha is the manager of the conference. We have Emily, who will be doing a bunch of different things on site. Samantha, who you will see in the expo hall, and Christine, who will be running around chasing after all of us. All right.
Okay, so hi everyone, it's Joy speaking. I'm just going to briefly introduce you to your wonderful team of team leaders. So there are 28 team leaders, and collectively, well, I would say more, they've got 20 plus years experience. So they've been doing this for a long time. Most of them have been helping for over 10 years. They are your experts and decision makers on site, and they are a great resource for all of your questions. So when you're on site, if something comes up, if an issue comes up, team leaders are your first resource. You can ask them any questions you might have, and yeah, use them when you are on site.
Yeah, so I had mentioned this last year at our volunteer orientation meeting. I've been with canfitpro for 2 years. Joy has been with canfitpro for about 8 months. Your team leaders have more knowledge about the conference as a whole than I do. They've seen it all. So in actuality, the team leaders are there to answer all of your questions. If there's something that they cannot help you with, then they will come to one of the staff members for an answer for you. So I encourage you to go to them for any of your questions. So the conference and venue, the conference is taking place from Wednesday to Sunday, and we have intensive workshops taking place on the Wednesday and Thursday, and the main conference is taking place on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with a couple of intensives thrown in those days as well. The majority of the conference will be taking place in the north and south building of the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. It is a huge building. It takes, if you're going from one side to the other, you probably need a good 15 minutes to get from one side to the other. It's a lot of space that we're covering and a lot of rooms that we will be filling with wonderful presenters. In addition, the Intercon Hotel is connected to the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. We'll be using 2 rooms on the lower level of that hotel. We'll be using ballroom AB in the Ontario Niagara room. They're very easy to find if you do have shifts there. All you need to do is go down the escalator to the lower level, and both of those rooms are directly at the bottom of that escalator. So volunteer pickup, we have Anita and George here in this picture. They're volunteers that have been with us for a long time. This year they're going to be assisting us in the volunteer office when our team leaders cannot be on site. We have a few meetings and a couple of other events taking place. So Anita and George will be there to help you. Should you have any questions, treat them as team leaders. That's what they're there for. So the volunteer office is in room 705. Of the South Building of the Metro. Oh, sorry. That's right. Thank you, Georgia. Is in room 704 of the South Building, Metro Toronto Convention Centre. We're there early in the morning, so we like happy faces when we're there that early in the morning. So this is where you're going to come and get your kit and your badge, and you're going to sign in to get that equipment. This year, we have brand new badges. They're very pretty. The front of the badge will look as you see in the orientation. And your name will be on there along with a specific barcode for yourself. On the back, because our registration company could not fit your shift information on the back of the name tag, I'm going to print out the name badges like I did last year, and I'm just going to put your shift information stuffed in the back of the pouch so it'll be in there. And I want to make you notice that it outlines the day of your shift, the time of your shift, the location where you're supposed to check in for your shift. The number here is not a room number. That is your shift number, and that's to make it easy for staff and team leaders to find out where you're supposed to be. And this is going to be the job that you're doing for your shift. So new this year, oops. Oh, well, that slide's not working. It's a good thing I printed it out. I'm going to send the slideshow out to everybody. So what I wanted to bring your attention to is new this year, you do not need to sign in for your shifts in the volunteer office. You will be signing in with your team leader where you've been instructed to go. So you need to sign in and out with your shift team leaders, and that is your responsibility. If the information comes back to me here at the office and it is blank, you will not get credit for being at your shift at either the start or the finish. So if you're hoping to get CECs, you will not get them. If you have any questions as to whether or not you have checked in or checked out, please confirm that with your team leader on shift, or if that's not going to work, please come up to the volunteer office, because even though you don't need to check in and out for your shifts there, we're still there to help you and answer all of your questions and try to make things as smooth as possible for you. So yeah, that should make things a lot easier and a lot faster for you guys this summer, particularly for those who have room monitor shifts in the north building. You don't have to go all the way to the south building to sign in for your job. You just go to the north building, and I'll explain later where the team leaders will be set up for your sign in.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit now about your different roles and responsibilities that you may have on your volunteer shift. Good. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about is the volunteer office volunteers. That's okay. Can I have that back? Yeah. Okay, so if you are a volunteer working in the volunteer office at the conference, you are going to be in room 704 in the south building, which we already talked about. There will be a nice big sign there saying that it's a volunteer office, so you'll be able to find it, and probably Tammy or I will be there at almost all times. Some of your responsibilities, if you're working in the volunteer office, might be to distribute the volunteer name badge, t-shirt, and volunteer kit, which we already discussed. You will need to be prepared to provide directions and instructions. So, for example, if someone's looking for the north building, it would help if you can guide them there, direct them there. You'll check all the schedules for volunteer no-shows and let the staff know immediately, and let the staff know of any on-site shift changes, as well as some administrative work with putting up, taking down, changing signs, running messages, etc. And you're also responsible for ensuring the security of the room. So people will come, leave their bags and things, volunteers, and you'll just have to be sort of our eyes and ears in that room, keep an eye on things. Cool.
Okay, delegate registration. This is brand new system this year. So the delegate registration will still be taking place on level 600 of the south building. And we've extended a couple of the days, the hours for registration pickup, just to make it easier. Start times for your shifts will start and end a little bit later or a little bit before the registration desk hours, but that's in order to prepare for the workload that needs to be done for that day. In addition, because of the new process that we're doing, we are asking that our volunteers who are in the delegate registration come in for their shifts about a half hour early so that we can do new training with them.
You can still advance the slide.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, so again, we have a brand new registration process. This year, our volunteers will be assisting with computer registration, on-site delegate badge printout, and we will also have a separate delegate bag pickup and wristband distribution area. So I'm going to show you a layout of the area, and I'll give you a little explanation of what we will be doing this year. So our kiosk area is still roughly the same, but we'll be doing a few different things at the kiosks this year. So kiosk 1 to 3 is going to be used exclusively for bag pickup for all of our delegates. And the kiosks 4 to 10, what we're going to be doing this year is all of our delegates will have a barcode when they come to the conference, and on the desks of all of these kiosks will be a printer with a scanner. So essentially what the delegates will do, they'll put their barcode into the scanner, and then it'll print out this lovely delegate name badge, which will also have some tickets on the bottom of it that are perforated that the delegates will be able to tear off. And those tickets will be for the bag pickup. They'll be for people who are picking up gift certificates. And there were a couple of others, but I can't remember what they are. Yeah. And then towards the end, we have kiosk 10, 11, 12, and 13. Those will be used for the VIP check-in. We've got media kiosk check-in, and we have on-site registration. We're hoping that the process this year will be very easy for the delegates. I'm also hoping that with a little volunteer assistance at the scanners, the delegates will be able to get in and out really quickly this year, and we won't have the long lineups that we have had in the past. Over at the side area, this is where registration will be for the Expo. And do you remember what that was? 1920? And that will be for OPA registration over here. You'll get significant on-site training with our registration company. They will be on-site for any questions. They're going to do a training with all of the volunteers when you come on-site for both shifts during the day. Go. All right, next is room monitors. Okay, so for anybody that has a room monitor shift, at the front of your shift information, it'll either say if you're a north room monitor or south room monitor. North building room monitors, please check in for your shift in the lobby of level 200 of the north building. There will be 2 tables set up. There will be signage. The tables will be on the west wall, and our team leaders and volunteers will be there to sign you in for your shifts and give you your room kit sign up and bags. For the south building room monitors, it's the same process as it has been in the past. You'll see your team leaders at the desk right outside of the volunteer office, room 704, and you'll sign in for your shift with them, and then they will give you your room assignments. They'll give you your room assignments and give you your kits. So we're going to move on to slide 19. Now, I know that a few people have watched this, but I want to make sure that everybody sees this video, because even though you don't have a room monitor shift, we might be short room monitors one day, and we may have to pull you out of what you're doing and move you into your room monitor shift. So we're going to show you a quick little video that will give you some details as to what your role will be as a room monitor. Pardon? Yeah, I'm going to play the video. We're going to turn this up. "15 5-minute sign, stand by line sign, scanner, and a scanner problem log. The room setup sheet contains important information regarding the sessions that are taking place in the room you have been assigned to and are monitoring.
Just say, how come like so many people are saying those times?
Now, but can you exit videos playing?
All conference delegates have issued a badge. The front of the badge displays the delegate's first name, last name, and barcode. On the back of their badge is a list of sessions the delegate has pre-registered for. Scan the session barcode on the setup sheet. If you're using more than one scanner, please ensure that all scanners scan the barcode of the session. Once all scanners have been scanned, draw an X to the session barcode on the setup sheet. Once the presenter is ready, you may start to let registered delegates into the session room. Check the delegate's wristband and name badge to ensure that they are registered for the session. Scan the delegate barcode and click the capacity counter as you let people into the session room. Delegates who are not pre-registered for the session may be invited to wait in the standby line. VIPs and all access passes receive priority and may go to the front of the standby line. 2 minutes prior to the session starting, determine how much space is available by looking at the capacity counter and reviewing the maximum room capacity on the room setup sheet. Admit the standby line accordingly by scanning the delegate name badge. Pre-registered delegates have priority use of equipment during the session. Delegates can enter the session at any time providing there is room. However, their scans will only be accepted within the first 30 minutes of the session start time. Show the presenter the 15 and then 5-minute sign at the corresponding time before the end of the session. Once the session is over, write down the session final numbers in the actual column of the room setup sheet. For your next session, start at step number 1. Once you have finished your shift, please return all of the items in the room monitor kit to your designated room monitor check-in, check-out area. It's very important to ensure that you follow the scanning process as it has been described, because no beep equals no scan, which means no CC. Please do not hesitate to ask for assistance if you encounter any problems with the scanning process. Here are some tips for successful scans. First of all, ensure that you hear a beep after each scan. Secondly, scan only one delegate name badge at a time. And third, once you hear a beep and see the green light, then you're free to scan your next delegate name badge. Ensure that you press only the large button on the scanner and that the red laser covers the barcode. You should hear a beep after the barcode was successfully scanned. As a confirmation, you will notice the green light flashing on scan. Do not scan the name badge on a diagonal or sideways, or if the scan is smaller than the barcode. If there is a strong glare or reflection, it may not be the scanner. Try holding the delegate name badge in a different direction to block the glare, or take the tag out of the badge and scan it. If the session barcode does not get scanned before the delegates are scanned, please make a note on the scanner problems log and fill out all information requested, and feel free to add more information as needed. If you're not sure you scanned the delegate's name badge, or you did not hear the beep or see the green light, please scan the delegate barcode again and make a note of it on the scanner problem log. If the scanner is not working, please notify a staff member immediately so we can replace your scanner. So I know that some of you guys had some trouble hearing that. Don't worry, I'm going to make the video available to everybody
It's going to be YouTube.
afterwards. Sorry. All right. So I think that makes it really clear. And if this is the first time you guys are in a room monitor shift, you know what? Team leaders love to chat. So please ask if you have a question. If you're unsure and you're feeling really nervous, ask if you can be put into a room with somebody else who has done this in the past. Okay, we are going to make a note to answer all of your questions at the end of this conference. We'll make some time for that. So if you do have questions, send them in. I've got Jason here keeping an eye on your questions. Right, Jason? Yeah. Okay. Actually, I had another slide here, which isn't showing up. So what I wanted to bring your attention to is a lot of people have questions with regards to the standby line and who actually has priority in the standby line. It's very simple if you think of it this way. The only people that get into a session are those who are actually registered in the session. Okay, George is making some fun doodles on the board here. If a person is not registered for the session, then they have to go in the standby line. Doesn't matter if they're a team leader, a VIP, if they're a presenter, it doesn't matter. Only registered delegates get into the session. Everybody else goes into the standby line. Now in the standby line, there is a priority. So first of all, it's VIPs, then all access, then presenters, then pro trainers, and then everybody else. In most cases, those people in the standby line will get into their session, but there are a few sessions that are very, I guess, how you would say, well attended. And if you notice that your delegate numbers are almost at capacity and almost match what the room capacity is, please give those people in the standby line a little heads up and say, hey, our room is almost at capacity. I'm not sure that everybody is going to be able to get in on standby into this session. You might want to have a look at your it's called at the sessions at a glance to see if there is another session that they would like to attend at the same time. It's always good to give them a heads up because if you tell them as soon as the session starts that they can't get in, you're going to have 20 people in front of you that are a little irritated. So just a heads up. Oh. Helen.
All right, so we've got some graffiti on this slide. That's cool. All right, so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about audio-visual in the rooms. So there will be lots of technicians walking around the hallways attending to the AV needs in the different lecture rooms. If there happens to be a problem with the projector or audio not working, ask a team leader first. Like we said, that they are there as a resource for you. So either ask a team leader or one of the technicians walking around, and they'll be wearing either a Tri-Tech shirt or a Frischkorn shirt. And there will be a technician in all of the activity rooms, so they might be able to help you as well. So like we said, use your resources. In the meantime, if you want to try and if you need help troubleshooting the problem, you can check if the connection into the laptop is snug. You can ask the presenter to restart their laptop. We all know that unplugging and plugging things back in is often the best solution. And just as a note, all the lapel microphones should be good to go. They'll just need to be put on the presenter and powered up.
Okay, thank you, Joy. Oh,
Next one, too. And just a quick note about photos and video in the sessions. Delegates are permitted to take photos and video during the sessions. However, there are some presenters that have requested that this should not be done. And if that is the case in one of your sessions, somebody will let you know, and we're hoping to be able to count on you to help enforce this. Okay.
Do you want to do that one again?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so a quick note about photo and video in the session. Delegates are permitted to take photos and videos during all the sessions. However, we do have a few presenters that have specified that they don't want photo and video being taken of them. So if that is the case in a session room that you are volunteering to monitor, we ask that you help enforce this request.
Thanks, Joy.
Oh. Okay, me again. All right. Okay, so in an effort to assist the equipment volunteers, we ask that you instruct the delegates to return all of the equipment to one contained area in the session room. So a lot of the rooms are really big, and you will be able to direct the delegates to just kind of pile whatever they're using, resistor balls, hand weights, something like that, into one corner of the room. That just helps us and our equipment volunteers move the equipment between the session rooms quicker. With regards to the room monitor bags, make sure that when your shift's over, you pack up the whole contents of the room monitor bag and return it to the same place you picked it up from in the south building or the north building. So that will be with the team leader volunteers there, right? Yep. Okay, and don't forget, most important, don't forget to sign out for your shift with your team leader. So like we just talked about, at that designated place in the south building or the north building.
Okay, and in an effort not to confuse people anymore, for those people who have specifically room monitor opening ceremony or closing ceremony shifts, so whatever north or south is at the front of your shift, so if it says north opening ceremonies, north closing ceremonies, you need to check in with the team leaders in the north building. So the same thing goes with south opening ceremonies and south closing ceremonies. You also need to check in with the team leaders at the south building outside 704. It's the same rules. North checks in at north, south checks in at south. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you're confused by that, please stop by the volunteer office. We'll be more than happy to send you in the correct direction. And I'm going to pass this off to Georgia now.
All right. Thanks, Tammy. Doing a great job on your first ever webinar. So I've met some of you over the years. Thank you for all of you coming back as volunteers. And my main role here at canfitpro is to work with our presenters. And we are keeping our presenter office in room 706 that we've always had. But this year we've changed it up a little bit, and we are calling it the Presenter Oasis. Doesn't that look so calming there? So in the Presenter Oasis, this is where so this is one of the slides where you guys got to pay attention and listen to my soothing voice. So in the Presenter Oasis, room 706, this is where all presenters will check in and out for their name badge and everything like that. If you are working in that office, you will need to check in and out with your actual team leader in the office. So if you are a team leader or a volunteer in the 706, be mindful that we want this to be a place this year where presenters can come in between sessions to relax, recharge. We're actually going to have the setup differently for them, some comfortable furniture, some easy music, and a little bit of snacks. And be mindful that this stuff has been provided for our presenters. There's nothing else happening in this office except for them to have this space. So they'll be able to come in, presenters will come in throughout the weekend, sign in, distribute, they will get their presenter kits, their name badges, and they get a gift. So be familiar that with those kinds of things when you get in, we'll help you set up that. The team leaders will help set that up. And if people have submitted their handouts, they should be online. But if a presenter did not submit their handouts, then if you're volunteering there, make sure you know where the photocopier is located, and your team leader will know, so that presenters may use the photocopier if they would like to print out their handouts. If presenters are trying to find out where a session's happening or the time of the session, it'll be printed on their name badge. And if they're not sure exactly where that is, and you can navigate them between north and south building or the different levels, that's always helpful, especially if somebody comes to you in a panic and they're rushing to get to their session. So that is our presenter oasis this year.
Next is social media volunteers. So this is the second year that we have social media volunteers, and this has been a great way for us to showcase what is going on at our event. This year, our hashtag is @WorldFitnessExpo. If you get onto that, you'll see a photo of us at our meeting yesterday here in the office. You can see a very dark picture of exactly where we're sitting right now. But I would encourage everybody through your own social networks to take photos, take short videos, and post them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or whatever else is out there, because I have no idea what else is out there. And that's exactly what our social media volunteers will be doing. They'll be going to sessions, they'll be taking videos and photos of presenters, delegates, trade show, volunteers. So make sure if you're in one of those photos, you're smiling and having fun. Okay. Next up is Jason.
Hello, everyone. So I'm managing the equipment on site, so that includes all the equipment used in the sessions. So our sponsors provide all of our equipment so that our delegates, as well as you guys, if you're taking any sessions, can use. So in order to get the equipment to all the different workshops, we need the volunteers to help do that. So the equipment room is located right beside the trade show on level 800. There's a garage door on the right of the escalator by the expo hall. So as a volunteer, you're going to check in and out with the equipment team leaders. So as Tammy mentioned earlier, the equipment team leaders have been around for a long time, so they're going to know a lot more about this stuff than me. So they'll be able to help you out with anything you need. Everything's going to be set up, and it'll just be bringing equipment back and forth between rooms. So you're going to assist during setup or tear down, so packing, unpacking, moving equipment. So there is some physical lifting involved. Some of the equipment can be a bit heavier. You're going to ensure rooms are set up with the required equipment. So the room monitors have those room setup sheets that list all the equipment that's supposed to be in there, and then we'll also have equipment lists so we know where everything's going. You're going to assist with moving equipment between session rooms. We'll organize, track, and store equipment between sessions. So if an equipment isn't being used, it's that's great. If an equipment isn't being used, it's going to be stored back at that level 800, and then we'll move it later. There's other miscellaneous tasks involved. There is some downtime associated with this, so particularly when sessions are going on, we obviously can't move any equipment, so there'll be some free time, so that's maybe when some of those other miscellaneous tasks will come in handy. And most importantly, as an equipment volunteer, you do need to wear closed-toed shoes. We do provide some, but if you have your own, you're welcome to bring your own.
So what we will be providing you guys with it's called protective personal equipment. I know, it's got such a huge word. If any of you remember, they're like, those rubber soles that you put onto shoes in the rain? They're kind of like that, only they're steel-toed. It's really cool. So we have different sizes, and they just go over your shoes, and then they protect your feet. So on Wednesday and Thursday, all of the equipment volunteers need to use those. Anybody going into the trade show area needs to use those. And then Saturday evening, when the trade show is being disassembled, again, closed-toed shoes and the protective personal equipment need to be worn. The team leaders will have that equipment or the shoes available in room 808. Sorry, I'm looking on the sheet here, and it doesn't actually say the room number, but in the equipment room. It's 825. All right.
Okay, so we've also got some volunteers that will be IT runners. So, okay. So if you are assigned to an IT runner shift, your home base, I guess, is going to be room 703. You're going to check in and out there with our canfitpro IT staff. So we've got a few guys on our team for canfitpro, so they'll be wearing their canfitpro staff shirts. You'll check in and out with them, and you'll be assisting them with the setup and tear down of a bunch of computer systems. So for this role, you have to be able to lift up to 40 pounds. So similar to equipment, there may be some physical lifting involved.
And again, these guys are one of the ones that have the earliest shifts at 5 a.m. So anybody that's in that shift, thank you very much for signing up for that. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so this year for the Expo Hall, formerly known as the Trade Show, it'll be located in the South Building on the 800 level, Hall D&E. The Expo Hall hours are Friday, August 14th, 11:30 to 7 p.m., and Saturday, August 15th, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. This is free to anyone who pre-registers and $20 for on-site registration. So this year in the Expo Hall, we have over 200 exhibitors. We have an exhibitor demo stage. We also have a lecture stage, an activity stage, nutrition stage, and new this year is a fitness celebrity stage. In the Expo Hall, we also have the Reebok Arm for Action Nano 5.0 Challenge, as well as the Ontario Physique Association 2015 GNC canfitpro Natural Championships.
Okay, all right. So if you are scheduled to be an Expo Hall volunteer, there's lots of different things you might be doing. If you've done this in the past, you may have seen me and my mom and my aunt, so the three little curly-haired people running around.
Mom and Aunt were the volunteer of the years last year, so.
Yeah. So I won't be with them this year. You'll see me running around in other places, but you'll still check in with the two of them on level 800. So when we get to the map, I will show you guys where they'll be situated, and you can check in with them. So you'll always check in with them for your shift, whether you are going to be in the Expo Hall itself or working an Expo Hall shift. Some of them are on the 600 level, which we'll talk about in a bit as well. So some of the different things you might be doing in the Expo Hall, working at the Expo Hall stages. We've got a few stages, which we'll show you on the map as well, where there will be short presentations happening. You could be working at Expo Hall registration, which is on the 600 level. So that's people coming in that want to attend the Expo Hall. You might be working at the doors of the Expo Hall, watching letting people in and out. You could be an Expo Hall floater, which is helping us with various tasks in the Expo Hall. Sometimes you'd be directing someone to an exit or helping exhibitors with various things. You might work at the exhibitor check-in, which is not going to be located in a couple different places.
It is, yeah, we don't need to go into that.
Oh, okay. So you might be working with the exhibitor check-in, which we'll go into later. The Expo Hall office, which is at the back of the Expo Hall, and we'll show you on the map as well. The sponsor lounge, which is a separate room where sponsors can go and relax, much like we talked a little bit about the presenter Oasis, similar idea. Or you might be a team leader assistant, which means you get to help out the little curly-haired twins.
Or other
They're not that
things.
demanding.
Just my notes on my sheet were just confusing for Joy, but I just wanted to let you know your first area that you go to is to the team leaders to check in, and then they will tell you where you need to go to. So don't worry about not knowing exactly where you're going. The two curly-haired twins will tell you exactly where to go.
And if you know that you're going to be working at Expo Hall registration and it's the 600 level, still go to level 800 and check in with them first. Otherwise, they don't know that you're there and might send more people upstairs, might panic and send extra people, and then you won't get credit for doing your shift as well. They won't know that you're there.
Well, you never know. Okay. So what we have here is a little diagram of the trade show area, the Expo Hall. So Joy's just going to bring your attention to a couple of areas of interest.
Okay, so what I was talking about where you sign in with your team leaders is going to be right here near the entrance. I think I talked about, I talked about the Expo Hall office, which will be at the back of the Expo Hall here. We're going to be talking about the canfitpro booth in the next slide, so that's right here. And then I mentioned the stages as well, so you can see that they are highlighted on this map as well. If there's anything else we have to show you on here.
Okay.
All right,
I'm really sorry. Some of these slides are not coming through to you guys. I'm not sure why that's happening, but I'm going to send the entire slideshow to you after this meeting, just so that you know.
All right, so like I just showed you on the map, we do have a canfitpro booth, and several of you will be, your duties will be working at that booth. Some of the things you might have to do, depending on whether you're working before or after the expo hall is open or during. Before you might have to unload, unpack some boxes and put the products in the specified areas, putting shirts on hangers, books on shelves, etc. If you're working while the expo hall is open, you're going to want to be keeping the booth clean and presentable, folding the clothing, collecting the products from the shelves, and assisting people with some questions, just where to find things. Maybe they want to know what size we have or something like that, just basic questions like that. And if you are there at the end, you'll be packing up and labeling and loading the boxes as well for shipment back to our offices. And of course, we want you to highlight our fundraising initiative, which Tammy will talk a little bit about later. Really important to note, if you're a volunteer, we don't want you answering any, or you don't need to, so don't worry about answering any certifications or recertification questions. There will always be canfitpro staff at that booth, and you can direct any delegates with questions towards them.
All right, so we've got a couple of other little details, important information to share with you. On board again this year, we'll be sharing space with Good Life and One Live. So Emily is going to talk a little bit about the One Live event that is taking place.
Righty. So the One Live event is occurring in Hall F and G on Friday afternoon as well as Saturday all day. There will be no barcode scanning, so we will have some room monitors there. Your number one thing is just to look for the green wristbands. So delegates will have a conference name badge with a barcode on it, but they'll also be wearing their green wristbands. So just make sure you're looking out for that. Delegates can attend One Live if they fall into one of the above categories of a Good Life Associate, member, or international Les Mills certified instructor. People can also register for only one day of One Live, so there can be just a Saturday only or a Friday only. So just make sure if you are a room monitor for this room, that their badge is the correct day. So if they're coming to the room on Saturday and their badge says Friday, they do not get access on Saturday. So just make sure you watch out for that. And people who pay the One Live rate cannot access canfitpro sessions, with the exception of opening and closing ceremonies and the expo hall. Okay? So there are people who will be registered for the entire conference and also have a green wristband, but then there's also people that are only registered for One Live, and they cannot access canfitpro sessions. All right. Next slide. There you go. All right. So there's also a number of Good Life specific events happening. So there's going to be a personal training day of excellence and a sales excellence day. These are occurring in the North building. So Good Life Associates, we're all given a code to register for this. So it should be on the back of their name badge. So we'll have our volunteers assisting as room monitors for these sessions, and we will be scanning delegates for this one, okay? So One Live, we don't. Good Life, we do.
Great. Okay, thank you, Emily. Okay, very important. Case of emergency, please advise a canfitpro member immediately. There are 2 nurses stations on site. one in the south building, level 800, and one in the north building, level 200. It is fully staffed. They're there to help with bruises, fractures, breaks, whatever happens. So ensure that you direct people there if needed. In addition, if you see anybody stealing, whether it's delegate stuff or our equipment that is on site, please notify canfitpro staff or the security immediately. We want to make sure that anybody who is stealing is not in the building. We want them to be kicked out, and we will also revoke their certification and membership if they are a canfitpro member. A lot of this equipment is very expensive, and we have a lot of equipment on site, so just keep your eye on stuff, and if you see somebody, maybe in an area that they shouldn't be, maybe ask them what they're doing there. But again, notify a canfitpro staff member. You'll see us all walking around. Doesn't have to be one of the events team. You'll see there's 60 staff that will be on site. You can approach anybody. Okay, where's my... Okay. I'm sorry that this slide isn't coming up, but this is a big one that people ask about. And I've noticed a couple questions pop up in the question field as well. So in order to qualify for your volunteer benefits, you must fulfill your shift obligation, which includes working the entire time frame of your shift. Volunteers are not permitted to leave their shift early. Please do not ask to leave your shift early. It puts the team leaders in a very awkward situation. As a volunteer, you can attend sessions only when you are not on shift. You cannot pre-register for sessions that are taking place on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You will be on standby for any of those shifts. And please make sure that when you do attend a session, that the barcode on your volunteer name badge is scanned so that you will be given the CEC for your attendance to that session. And please note that if you do attend a session when you are on shift, your CECs will be removed. We cross-reference everything back at the office. In addition, if you do not sign out or in for your shifts, your CECs will also be removed. So do ensure, it's very important that you check in and check out with your team leader. All right, so the items on here that you cannot see, presenter evaluations and surveys will be sent via email to all of the delegates. Might just want to remind them all that as they're leaving the session rooms, don't forget to fill out your surveys. That's how we decide who we're going to have back next year and who we want to invite in the future. Food and beverage on site. Please feel free to bring snacks and food with you. Food within the area in the venue is extremely expensive. But I would also encourage you, if you are going to be eating, please don't eat in session rooms. There are tables and chairs outside of all of the sessions. And particularly, like if you're having just a quiet snack in the back of the room, that's fine. But if you're going to be munching on some loud and scent-prevailing foods, please eat those in the hallway. We just don't want to upset anybody in the room. Yeah. Okay, handouts. Handouts are available online right now. All of the delegates can grab those handouts. Oh, they're not up yet. Okay, see, that's a good thing we're having this meeting. So they're up August 7th. And you also will have access to that information. You can just go on to the World Fitness Expo website, and you'll see a link there for handouts. You just click on that. And any presenter that has actually given us their handouts, we'll have those up there. And you can just download them or copy them as you wish. Lost and found, there is on level 200 and level 500, there's an information booth that is run by the MTCC. Any lost items you can take there. Please don't bring them to the volunteer office because we'll be directing anybody who has lost items to those two areas. So again, that's level 200 and level 500. Cell phones and downtime. I would encourage you that if you're in sessions, please do not sit at the back of the room while your presenter is lecturing and sit on your cell phone at the back of the room. If you need to do that, please go out into the hallway. I can understand if you're just looking up a quick text or a quick email, but please don't be sitting at the back of the room paying attention to your cell phone. It's very distracting to the presenters and also to the other delegates, and we want to just give consideration to them. We're going to try and speed this up because I know it's 2:25. All right. Session participation. I know that some of these sessions are really exciting and you're sitting there and you want to participate in them. I'm encouraging you not to participate in them. Save your energy and your time for when you are off shift. We would like you to have fun and be able to participate fully. As a volunteer, your primary responsibility is ensuring that the presenter has everything that they need, that the audio is working, and you're also there in case there are any emergencies. So we would encourage you to just hang out, listen to what's being taught, but please don't participate in the sessions. All right. So a couple of extra things. I know that you're going to be asked a million times the same question. Just smile and pretend every time it's the first time you've heard that question. You're there to act on behalf of canfitpro. We want you to have a good time, but we want our delegates to have a good time too. So I know that it can be frustrating answering the same question over and over again, but if you think every time it's your best friend asking you the question for the first time, and if you could respond to it that way, that would be really appreciated. If you have any questions on site, ask your team leader or ask a staff member. We're there to help you, and we want you to enjoy your day. So just a couple of other items I'm going to touch on really quickly. I've sent some information out in regards to our playground project. So canfitpro over the next 5 years is going to be raising $100,000 to help build a playground at the Pacific Autism Family Center. On your t-shirts, you will all have a little puzzle symbol on your t-shirt that says, help us build a playground. I would encourage you that if anybody asks you, well, what's that all about? That you tell them the following information. We're trying to raise money for this playground, and we have a couple of different things that will be taking place on site. So in the Expo Hall, we're going to be accepting donations in donation boxes at all of the stages. If you guys want a massage or anybody else is like, oh, I'm so sore, send them to Thai Massage Toronto or Navina Thai Yoga Therapy. They're going to be doing massages in exchange for donations, and any donation, it doesn't even matter. And then if people are attending the Expo, if people are going to the Expo Hall and they haven't pre-registered, they will be paying $20, and all of that money will be going towards our playground fund, which is amazing. I have a couple floor plans that I've sent you already, so I don't really feel like I need to go into detail with those. They are going to be in the slideshow, which you will get. It'll have the completed information. So I apologize again for them, but I wanted to address any questions that people may have. Oh, okay, and I'll talk about this just really quickly, the volunteer CPR. So volunteer CPR will be taking place from 7 o'clock to 9:30 on the Wednesday evening. You must be pre-registered for this. They will not be taking any on-site registrations for this. They have a specific number of pro trainers that are allowed to be on site for the number of people that we have. So please make sure that if you haven't registered yet, there are still a few spaces available that you do so as soon as possible. So again, before I get into questions, I will be sending this video out. I acknowledge the fact that there were some sound issues. I am going to send out the slides. And if I don't get to your question today, you can by all means send me an email. And what I'll do is I'll compile, if you can send me an email today, and then I'll compile all of the questions and answer them and send them out to everybody tomorrow along with the video. Do you guys want to go through a couple of the questions? Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so maybe I'll come up here and just have a look.
How long?
So how long does a session go until, for the sake of a job shift that I need? Oh, okay, she's gone. All right.
Other people might have.
Okay, so somebody's asking if there's going to be any signs posted in regards to the standby line priority. We have talked about that. No. But what I might do, and I'm thinking of doing, I might put it on the back of the room setup sheet so that if somebody does come up and question you on it, you can at least show them the information, and that will help to validate what you're saying. Hopefully that's helpful. Sorry.
Social media people still take photos.
Yes. So social media guys, you can take photos. Yeah, absolutely. Jazzer, I know that you met my friend here, Joy, yesterday at the gym. But yeah, you can take photos.
So social media people can take photos of all sessions except for the sessions that Tammy mentioned have a no recording. Okay, so those will be outlined on those specific sessions. So you don't have to worry about imposing on anyone's request not to be photographed. It will be outlined ahead of time. But otherwise, all other sessions and events going on at the Expo are available to take photos. Okay. So next question we had is, do volunteers have to pre-register for workshops, or do we just show up when it begins and hope for an open spot?
Okay, so I've already addressed that. You don't pre-register for any of the sessions. All volunteers will be on standby.
Yep. Okay. So there was the point about steel-toed boots or shoes, and if you can wear your own instead of the ones we provide.
Sure. If you're probably far more comfortable in your own, so why not?
Okay. Another question. If the trade show starts at 11:30, why does my shift start at 12?
Yeah, there's probably somebody in a shift before you, so that would be the switchover time for that shift.
If we are scheduled for a 5 a.m. shift, are we expected to show up at 4:30 a.m.?
No, because I will not be opening up the volunteer office at 4:30 a.m.
You'll be the only one there.
If your shift starts at 5 a.m., you can be at the I said volunteer office. Now I'm going to confuse you. No, you can show up at 5 a.m. for your shift, Leah.
I have yet not been given a shift position. I am therefore unaware as to when my first day is. I need to know soon since I stay far away from school. I need to prepare in advance.
Yeah, I'm going to address that after. Ashna, if you'd like to email me directly, I can deal with that by email.
So I have all morning shifts. How long am I required to be in the building to ensure I get my CECs?
So you have a start time and a finish time for your shift. You need to be there for the entire time of your shift. What you do when you're off shift is up to you, but you only get CECs if you go to sessions when you are not on shift. You do not get CECs while you are on shift, when you are scheduled on shift. Yeah.
Okay, so someone is asking about being a volunteer at an information booth.
Okay, so we have 4 information booths set up in the building. You will have a binder set up there that will have information in regards to the conference, times, locations. It will also have a little bit of information on things to do in the neighborhood, hotel information. Somebody comes up to you and says, hey, where can I grab a coffee? You can tell them where they can go get a coffee. You've got a couple of options there for Tim Hortons, Starbucks, and you can let them know where that is. So essentially, you're there to answer pretty much any question they have. Granted, there are some questions you may not be able to answer, but it's good to know the conference and have a good look through the binder when you first start your shift.
So follow-up question to that, is the information booth the same as the canfitpro booth?
No, thank you for asking that. That can be a little confusing. The information booth is different from the canfitpro booth. The canfitpro booth is in the Expo hall, and it's where we sell our canfitpro products. The information booth there's one on level 200, 500, 700 and I think 800. And that's just a place that people can go to and ask their questions.
Can we attend opening or closing ceremonies even if we are not registered to volunteer then?
What you do when you are not on shift is up to you. So yeah, the opening ceremonies are lots of fun and the closing ceremonies are lots of fun. You do get a CEC for attending those as well. So I would encourage you to go if you need them. You do need to get scanned in for those sessions, so just make sure you do get scanned in.
Can I do my CPR at the conference on my own time?
Now, if there are spaces available for the other CPR sessions, yes, you can. You can sign up for those when you are on site. There is a registration area on level 600, and they can tell you which ones there is availability in.
How do we find out what shifts we are assigned to?
If you haven't received your email confirmation yet, please email me at volunteers@canfitpro.com.
Are all volunteers allowed to attend the opening ceremonies?
I think I've already talked about that.
The current slide is confusing. It says you must be pre-registered for this session, yet it also says you are not registered. You must register on site. Which is it? It's for CPR.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, for on-site volunteer CPR, I'm looking at the wrong place. For on-site volunteer CPR, you cannot register in the session, but you can register on level 600. You'd have to pay for it ahead of time, and then you can go to the session, providing there's spaces available.
And do I need to do the volunteer CPR if I'm already CPR certified?
No, you do not.
Are the CECs automatically put into the system, meaning do we need to worry about putting the information in ourselves?
Nope, the CECs are automatically transferred into our database. Now, it does take a few weeks to process them. This year, it might take a little bit longer because we are using this new process, but I would say in roughly about 3 weeks after the conference, the CEC should all be uploaded into the database. And you will receive an email from Interactive stating that your CECs have been uploaded, and then at that time you can go into Interactive and check your account.
I am scheduled to work the Expo Hall consumer stages. Will I get my assigned job and what stage I will be covering when I check in on each shift?
Yes, you will. Samantha will be working closely with the twins, the team leaders. And once you check in with the team leaders, they will probably direct you to Samantha, who will then assign you for which stage you will be working at.
I have my shifts, so I know when I'm available. When can I register for my CEC sessions?
I think that's already been addressed. Debbie, if you're still having questions about that, just send me an email and I'll try and clarify.
My shift ends 20 minutes into a session. Can I still attend that session if space is available?
Yes, but you will not get CECs. Just so that you know, anybody who goes into a session 30 minutes or after it starts, it's 20 minutes after, 20 minutes after a session starts, they do not get their CECs. They're deleted out of the system. So you can still go into the session to get the education, but you will not get the CEC.
The reason for that is just because you've missed too much of the educational content. So you're absolutely still more than welcome to attend, but like Tammy said, you just won't be getting a CEC for it.
But please don't ask to leave your shift 20 minutes early so you can go to that session and get the CECs. You're scheduled at that time for a reason, and we do need you to stay for the whole time.
Perfect. Good teamwork. What time does the volunteer orientation session start on August 12th? Also, is it in the north building or the south building?
So the volunteer orientation starts at 5:30 in the south building in room 808. If you have attended this webinar and it makes sense, because I'm not sure on the receiving end how it's actually come through to you guys, then it's going to be the same information that I'm going to go through that day. So if you've had a look at this, and if you have a look at the recorded version that I'm going to send out, I think you're good to go. But if you have any questions, by all means, come down to that session and I'll try to answer your questions for you.
Can we register for the CPR volunteer session on the phone?
You can. Yep. You'd have to call customer service or customer relations. And please, if you can do that within the next couple of days, that would be best on our end.
How many CECs do you get when you attend a session?
So depending on so you'll get, in whatever certification is being offered, you'll be given one CEC. So you have to verify what certifications the CEC is being offered in to find out if it's worthwhile for you to see if it's worthwhile for you to attend that session. The CEC information and what all of the sessions offer can be found on the World Fitness Expo website. And all of the sessions are listed there with a little icon that'll tell you and it's also in the brochure, but there are little icons that will tell you if the session is applicable for PTS, FIS, or the many other certifications that we offer.
Last year I paid for CPR in advance with canfitpro. Can I still do that this year in advance?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I have not yet done my practical exam. Will I still get my CEC?
That's a great question. It's not one that we typically address in this orientation, so thank you for asking. No, you won't. You do need to be fully certified, so that means you are finished your practical exam in order to get your CEC. But don't let that make you sad. It's okay, because this is still a great learning opportunity for you and a great networking opportunity. And just so that you know, you do have, I think it's 18 months when you're first certified to get your CECs. So it's still a great learning opportunity for you. Okay.
If I listen to the webinar, so I don't have to attend the Wednesday night orientation.
If you understand everything in the webinar, then you don't have to attend the orientation.
Do I get any discounts on products sold at the Expo?
I don't think there's not additional discounts, no. But you do get into intensives at the delegate rate. You also do get free entry into the Expo, so that's part of your volunteer package as well. Oh, and you get coupons on the on-site brochure as well, which you'll get in your kit.
Is there a fee for the volunteer CPR training? If so, how much?
Yes, there is. It's $20, which is a great rate. You won't find that rate anywhere else. It's a great rate that we offer at the conference.
If you have both your FIS and PTS and someone takes a session that is eligible for both, can they claim it for both or only one certification?
You get one for each, so you'd get one CEC for each.
What do you do if someone sneaks out of their session before the end of the session early? They can't be unscanned but still get credit for the session.
Can I say you bang them on the head and then drag them back in? That's a joke. You know what? It's something that we do struggle with at all of our events. We have the positive feeling that that person will then go to a different session and scan into a different session because they didn't like that education. There's really nothing we can do about that. We just hope that they're making the best out of their time and they will go into another session and scan in for something else.
Do the volunteers who are only volunteering for the opening session get the package and the delegate rates or CCs?
Janet Stratus, if you want to email me about that, I can address that further in a email.
Can we gain references from this for jobs?
Yeah, for sure. So at the end of the conference, if you email me, I'll be happy to send you a letter of reference for helping us out. It's, you know what, you guys put in a lot of time to help us out at this conference, and I know I was a volunteer once. It's a significant amount of time, and there's a lot of sitting around that's involved. I'm going to do anything to make you happy. So if a reference letter is going to help you out for something in the future, for sure, ask me.
So that looks like all the questions we have right now. If anyone else has a question. Oh, one more. Can I bring a lunchbox, and where do I leave it when I'm on shift?
Okay, so you can bring your lunchbox with you. I would encourage you this year to please keep all of your personal belongings with you. Our volunteer office is going to be used for different purposes this year. So if you want to bring your food with you, absolutely, I would definitely encourage you to do that. We are going to wrap this out. I know that there's a couple more questions that have come into me, so if you want to email me directly, and then what I can do is email everybody back with those questions and answers that I'm receiving now. On a last note, as I just said, I know that you guys are giving a significant amount of time to helping us out. We wouldn't be able to do this conference without you. We have about 450 volunteers this year. We've significantly reduced our volunteer numbers. And so many of you keep coming back year after year after year after year. And we love the fact that we have so many returning volunteers and that every year we attract some new ones. So from the bottom of my heart, I just really appreciate the time that you've taken and that you're giving us. I hope you get a lot out of the conference. I hope you're able to go to sessions, because I wish I could go to sessions because I know how awesome they are. And stop by the volunteer office if you just want to, have a coffee or say hi or chat for a while. I'll be there with Joy and the team leaders and the volunteers. So send me your questions, and I look forward to seeing you. 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, my friends. Oh. So have a great day, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And thanks for attending the webinar.